हरे कृष्णा। श्री श्री राधा माधव अष्ट सखी की जय। पंच तत्व भगवान की जय। प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव भगवान की जय। हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा। Very very warm welcome to everybody for this morning's Japa Yagna. Firstly, on behalf of my leader, thank all the Japa leads who came in, did their small service, 15-minute chanting, leading the chanting. Thank you. We now move on to the next part of the morning program, which is the Srimad Bhagavatam short class. Before we get on to the class, we do a short kirtan and then you Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Dhira Vanachari Yamuna Dhira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Gandharvika Giridhari Gaura Hari. Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Anantadev Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Anantadev Nittai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nittai Gaur Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Reading from Chapter 1, Canto 1, Chapter 18, titled Parikshit Cursed by a Brahmana Boy. We are in the 16th verse, 118:16. Savai Mahabhagavata Uparikshit Yen Apavarga Akyam Abhadra Buddhi Jnanena Vahi Yasika Sabdithena Bheja Kaga Indriya Dvaja Padamulam Savai Mahabhagavato Parikshit Yena Apavarga Akyam Abhadra Buddhi Jnanena Vaiyasika Sabdithena Bheja Kagendriya Dvajapada Moolam. Word to word meaning, translation, and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O Sutta Goswami, please describe these topics of the Lord by which Maharaj Parikshit, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of birds. Those topics were vibrated by the son of Vyasa, Srila Sukadeva. Um, the purport is a little lengthy one. Maybe we'll just discuss as and when we need to read it from the purport. We'll take it through. Let me tell our prayers and then start the class. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjala Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण पदाय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण. Again, warm welcome. Before I even start, seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas here, thanking the leaders who's given me an opportunity also to purify myself. And this is a wonderful verse. What a wonderful section we are in, right? Parikshit cursed the Brahmana boy. Savai mana Mahabhagavata Parikshit. Yena apavargya akyam abhadra buddhihi. Jnanena vai yasika sabditena beja kagendriya jvatapada moolam. O Sutu Goswami, please describe these topics of Lord by which Maharaj Parikshit, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet. Who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of birds? These topics are vibrated by whom? By Vyasadeva, Srila Sukadev. Okay, so let me come out of all these screens. So we've been, reading this section, right? Who's speaking? Sonakadishi rishis are all. What did they do? First, they glorified Krishna. First, they glorified Krishna Katha, right? And they expressed their desire. What is that desire? We want to hear Krishna Katha from whom? Suta Goswami. It says he is a Mahabhagavata. First, they are appreciating. See, we saw one or two verses back, right? They appreciated. Even the Tula Yama Lava Napi, that is the value of moment of association of a devotee, right? They were appreciating the association of such exalted Vaishnavas. What did they say? They were saying even a moment of association with a devotee cannot be compared to any other blessings in the world, uh, be it uh, uh, be it attaining heavenly planets or liberation from matter. What to speak of worldly benedictions? So that was first they said that. Then later we found in the previous verse, uh, yeah, they are glorifying. They're glorifying Suta Goswami, stating that you are learned, you are pure devotee of the Lord. Huh? Why did they specify that? Because they said, "Oh, you have uh, what did they say? You have the chief object as Supreme Personality of God, right? Chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord, right, which are above the material conception, for we are anxious to receive such messages." Now in this verse we see what is their anxiousness, right? As told, now imagine if Suta Goswami has said, I know you're all anxious for mukti, why don't you get some jnana, right? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that jnana which is mentioned here, that itself for them is the pastimes of Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? They were very clear that knowledge is not something else, not some deep subject, deep philosophy. They said knowledge for us is just want to hear the leelas of the Supreme Lord. That is what knowledge means, right? They were super clear about that. They were clear that mukti means attaining the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord of Krishna. There was no confusion with it. That's why it says Kagendriya Dvajapada Moolam. For the devotees, that is the mukti, right? Attaining the lotus feet of the Lord and hearing the pastimes of Krishna is their knowledge. Now, we see mukti, right? We'll just try and today focus on what is the liberation, what is real liberation, and what is so-called imagined liberation by the impersonalists, right? So, for Bangaloreans, it's different. Even liberation means just simply getting away from the traffic. Morning traffic is liberation. But here we shall try and discuss uh, you know, uh, what Srila Prabhupada says about liberation? What does he think about mukti, right? Some wonderful pastimes of Srila Prabhupada also we shall try and discuss. So when Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, I think Tirtha Prabhu was sharing his realizations. Once during the discussion with the devotees, he was having deep discussion with some, something to do with Vrindavan pastime, and suddenly the pujaris rang the bell, right? So suddenly Prabhupada stops and see this person, Pujari, is the highest service one can do in this human form of, body, human form. Like his body seems to be very materialistic, but he's doing transcendental service, right? Uh, because Prabhupada is saying, who knows, you may not get the seva in the spiritual world, because as dressing up the Lord, getting him ready, offering boga, putting the Lord to sleep. Whose seva is it? This is the Yashoda Maya seva. There is no assurance of getting the seva in the spiritual world, right? There could be a long queue for doing that. So this seva is very auspicious, very rare for a human being in this lifetime, which she gets through Guru Kripa. Now, because obviously he was telling, right, Pujari has to wake him up. So imagine the consciousness which he has to be in, put him, give him bath, put him to sleep, massage him. All these activities are absolute spiritual. Now, this is, Prabhupada said, this is perfection of human life. There is nothing higher service in this material world. When I was reading that, I was thinking, how come we always thought it is book distribution or preaching, right? Then, of course, Prabhupada, if you read that, it goes on to say any services which you're performing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is on the absolute perform. All the sevas are Divya platform. It's like, then he pointed to that person and says, this Pujari, this person is liberated. Imagine Prabhupada saying that. So most people don't even understand, right? We have seen it whenever we try to preach somewhere, they don't even understand that they are bound, they are diseased. Okay, they're just going through life, not growing through life, right? That's why we invite them for the classes also, no time, right? We all know Nityananda Prabhu has taught us what is time means. They are not interested. Okay? So they don't even know that bodily consciousness which they are thinking is working hard in life, struggling through life. I've made it in life. I need to get it. I need to be settled down. All that they're not even aware that their mind, intelligence, and false ego, they all taken over, right? They forget knowing who their atma, all that thing is a little too much. That's why they are completely in ignorance and darkness. Imagine they're just going through Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi continuously, the cycle of birth and death, and they're not even aware that how forget we need to break it. They're not aware how to break it also, right? Only if by chance, if they come in touch with a devotee, there is a chance, right? There is a chance because the devotee always ensures that out of compassion, says, come into the class, invites him, and we all know what we do, right? So we are sometimes conditioned or constantly continuously conditioning is also happening. So that's the reason, right? Imagine the best way is like we all know, right? Three modes of material nature, 3 into 3 9. Imagine there is a ropes tied up in our body and some 9 ropes are given and some 9 trucks are pulling you from all the sides. Can you imagine how that person will feel? Do you think he can do anything? That is the situation we are in. And yet people think they are not bound, right? Srila Prabhupada says everyone who thinks they will enjoy, but they are actually suffering. They think doing this boga, eventually they are all suffering. So once Prabhupada was walking in a beach, and a fisherman came up and he had a nice long fish and just gave it to Prabhupada. Imagine his guts. Prabhupada, take it. Something like that he gave it. So Prabhupada just said, don't want, you take it, you enjoy. So the disciples near him who was walking in a morning watch were all a little surprised. How come you're telling enjoy, and gave him the fish? And then he turned this way and then suffered, Prabhupada said. So that way people think they are enjoying, but they do not know they are suffering, right? And once, similarly, in one of the morning walks in Hawaii, Prabhupada used to always engage in the morning. He used to wish them good morning or something like that, small talk just to see whether there's an opportunity to preach. And if those devotees stopped, Prabhupada used to say a few words. So they were like, obviously they were not interested in what Prabhupada was saying. They just walked up and Prabhupada told, look at them. Then obviously they were eating something. They're saying, see, they enjoy like pigs and they also look like pigs, right? They eat whatever is whatever they see, they kind of eat. This is the kind of, once again in Hawaii, I think Prabhupada for the first time saw some people trying to carry a board and, going into the sea. So Prabhupada asked the disciples, what is he doing? Then they said, Prabhupada, this is called surfing. This is a sport. So Prabhupada, what do you call them? He said, one of the disciples said, they're called surfers. The Prabhupada told, they are not surfers, they are sufferers, right? They will get a wonderful body in the next life, and then they continuously can suffer. Okay? And what will they understand about liberation? Like this, each time Prabhupada used to use this, any instances in life to explain to them about liberation or how the devotees are bound. Once in New York, he saw a huge truck, and in the Western countries, these trucks are large, even a garbage bin. So there was this huge garbage bin next to it, and a lot of sound. Prabhupada peeped in and said, "See, there were some rats trying to enjoy the leftovers or whatever was thrown in, right?" So then the truck came. They have all these mechanized arms, right? That comes like this, takes the entire bin and puts it and throws it. And there is this other automatic plate kind of a thing which kind of crushes everything, and it entire thing got crushed. And said, "See, this is the result of this." The rats thought they were enjoying. This is the result of enjoying independent of the Lord. See, that it only takes them to death. So that way, Prabhupada always used certain simple examples to tell their devotees about what is being bound and what is the result of being bound. Anyway, back to this verse today. What did the Rishi say? Rishi said, please tell us knowledge. And what is that knowledge they said? Which is Krishna Katha. And what is their mukti? The word specifically used here is apavarga, right? Yeah. Somewhere I saw that. Yeah, apavarga, the perfection stage of liberation. Simple knowledge of liberation is material knowledge. Actual freedom from material bondage is called freedom. See how Prabhupada gave the difference of knowledge of liberation and actual freedom from liberation. He gave a clear difference. Anyway, so the Apavarga is attaining the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. They're keeping the subject within the boundary. See what they're asking. Please tell us those subjects which was heard by Parikshit Maharaj. From whom? From Shukadeva Goswami, by which he got liberation. Please stick to, in a way they're saying, please stick to those subjects. See, their request is so wonderful, right? Why? So, though we all know in the Srila Prabhupada is written in the purport itself is that Srila Sukadeva Goswami was also an impersonalist in the beginning. As he himself admitted in the Bhagavatam 2:119. But later he was attracted by the transcendental pastime of the Lord and thus became a devotee. So, Sukadev Goswami was an impersonalist, but he became a devotee. Now, there's two kinds of mukti we keep talking, right? From the perspective of an impersonalist, from a devotee. See, the impersonalist, who is an impersonalist? I mean, he's got, first of all, barely realized knowledge of the absolute truth. We all know that one of the, Brahman, it's basically a partial understanding of the absolute truth, right? So, impersonalist can become a devotee, but a devotee will not become an impersonalist. Once in the Pandal program in India, right, many of the Indians told Prabhupada, look, these white-skinned people, they will not stay with you, they will leave you, they will go away, something like that. So Prabhupada just suddenly turned to these devotees and said, will you all leave if I give money? So all of them said, no way, Prabhupada. So then Prabhupada said, this is mukti from material world. They will never give up bhakti, no matter how much money you give them, right? They all have understood that there is no other tattva beyond Krishna tattva, nothing more to learn in life. They have realized that. So mukti has got two aspects of it, right? Like I told you, for a Bangalorean, a holiday from office itself is mukti, or avoiding the peak hours. But here, let's see what Prabhupada is talking. Now, we all know Jnani, right? One of the aspect of Gyani is what they say, the Brahma, Satyam, Jagat, Mityam. They keep saying that. Every time Mithya, Mithya, they keep saying, right? So if you have to leave one place, something nice should be there in the other place. Forget all that, even if you want to get out of this chair. If the chair is too comfortable, you will not get up. If something is bothering you, pricking you, you will say, okay, let me get a better chair, right? Similarly, the material world should bother someone, right? Yeah. Only then you say, let me go to a better place. Only then you will make attempts to leave this world. It's just, okay, mithya, everything is false, there is nothing permanent. If you keep saying that is fine, but you need to know what, there is something better to go there, right? What does the bhakta do? Huh? What Bhakta also says, Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam. But what does he say? Govindam Viraheme. Virahena me. That means if devotee also understands that he doesn't have a great estimation of this material world. But what Prabhupada used to say, treat it as a toilet. Just go finish your job and come out. Devotee thinks it, devotee also says it is Shunyaitam. But with reference to Govinda Virahe, if Govinda is not there, if we are not connected to Govinda, then it is no point. It's all a waste. So again, Prabhupada was in Mexico. In Mexico, all those hoardings, everything which was written was also in Mexican. So he was asking, he used to always ask the devotee, what is written there? What is written there? So one huge truck came. So Prabhupada said, what is going inside? Then these people said, no, Prabhupada, this is just garbage truck. So Prabhupada was, saw the size of that. He said, we should just take the entire material world and put it inside. That's the kind of mood Prabhupada was in. In the sense, he felt all this entire thing, material world itself was garbage. But a devotee doesn't, he lives for the day. He doesn't really plan too much for the tomorrow. It depends on the Lord for the next day. Now, for a devotee, anything which does not have a connection with Krishna is shunya, right? It doesn't have value. But even in this material world, devotee uses those things which he can connect with Krishna, right? For a Brahman, for a Jnani, Brahman is more the effulgence, and right, he comes and thinks he wants to merge into it, right? See, these people who are Jnani, right, they sometimes have this concept of I am not the body, but that is not enough, right? Because they don't have the Ananda aspect, Satchit Ananda. Ananda aspect is not there. Imagine without Ananda, what will they do? They are not, the soul is always looking for Ananda, right? They just fall down, come and become big philanthropists, big donations, they do those kind of things. But for a devotee, the mukti is the seva, right? They want to be like vimukti. So Krishna says here in Prabhupada is written, referred to 12th, it's also stated in Bhagavad Gita that 12.5 that person stuck to impersonal step undergo more suffering than this achievement of reality. Quickly, we'll see what it says here, right? Klesho adhikattarastesam, right? Avyakta asakta chestasam. Avyakta hi gatir dukkham. See, he says it is dukkham. Their gati is dukkham. Deha vadbir avapyate. Which means for those minds who are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied, right? It's the purport is wonderful. It says though it's the same goal, the process, the path is very difficult, whereas the bhakti or the process is very direct service to Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So for a bhakta, what is it? Prabhupada says it is easier, and Prabhupada uses the word natural, right? Though our worship is saguna worship, that is represented by material qualities, but remember, we do not think it is ideal, right? We always say it's deity. The form is an archa vikra, it is not material. So for a bhakti is susukam kartam avyayam, right? Bhakti is everlasting, it is joyfully performed. Huh? So for a bhakta, what does he say? The Lord says, Mam upatyantu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. But what does he say? One who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So if you attain me, what does the Lord say? Yadgatva nivartadde tadhamam paramam mama. For those who reach me will not return to this material world. Right? For a jnani, the mukti is not a permanent position, right? But whereas Srila Prabhupada says for a bhakti, mukti is a original position, right? Jivera swarupohoi krishnera nityadas, right? That is our situation. Even last Sunday we read about that, right? First verse in that class we had, right? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. What is a Pandita Samadarshinaha? For a devotee, he sees everything is in his original position. He doesn't differentiate. Everyone is, what is that? Permanent position is Lord, because Lord himself says, Mama Vamcha Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So doing the seva We are all Mamai Amsha. We have to do the seva for the Supreme Lord because that is our original position. That is our Jivere Swarupoy Krishnera Nityadas, right? So Gyani thinks Mukti is an imaginary. Okay, here we will come into the other aspect of which I was talking about in the beginning, right? Imaginary liberation and actual. So, what does Gyani sometimes think? They think they are liberated. Why? Because they obviously Gyani does some deep meditation. He reads some scriptures for some time, some hours. He'll sit and meditate. We find many who go all the way up to Himalayas and do that. And then after sometimes he thinks, oh, see, all of them are stupid. I have progressed so much. And then after that, he cannot do anything, picks up cigarette, lights it, smoke. Simply, he just can't even control his senses. And he think they are all Gyanis, right? However, what a Bhakta does, Bhakta param drishva nivartante. Through the though the embodied soul may restrict from sense enjoyment, the taste of sense object remains the same. But look at what is happening. The ceasing of such a engagement by experiencing higher taste. That is, he is fixed in his consciousness. Only a bhakta can enjoy higher taste because see, we all, what do we say? We cannot be desireless, right? Mukti doesn't mean that you will float in air or we will be having some different feeling. Nothing. We are just returning to our original consciousness. We have somehow fallen into this material world. Okay. Only a devotee can experience ananda, right? Just I mean, I'll give you a simple example. My personal experience, realization. I'm sure many will agree with me. See, whenever we start, at least I started doing this. Joining the Bhakti Viksha sessions, Saturdays. We otherwise have our other group of friends and other things. We used to finish the Bhakti Viksha session. I'll ask Mathurapati Prabhu, Varaha Prabhu, who are all taking the classes. Have you finished? I need to go. Quickly take prasadam and rush because our friends, our old companies from Satsanga, we were going to the Azat Sangha, right? Same, I mean, it used to be the same even in a Sunday flash. Though level of Azat Sangha can differ, but we used to always go. Now, even if there is a family function, right? If it is cooking seva, we get excited from Friday what to cook, meetings are happening. Then after the seva, we absolute bliss when we offer it finally to Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadramai, waiting. When will devotees have? Will they like it? How is it come out? Right? It may have all, you know, we might be very engaged for the few hours, 1 or 2 hours, but the way we feel, I mean, I'm sure Rajaboga Seva Matajis will feel the same. The kind of energy you get in the temple is just awesome. Ask them to do the same item, 15 items in their house, they will be, it will be impossible to do, right? Whether it's a sector Sunday feast, we will be waiting. The Mataji is there, sir, Prabhuji, you don't come, you come slowly, we are waiting. No, I don't want to miss the cooking service. That is actually called mukti. I mean, it's my personal realization. I might be wrong. Others can correct me. We don't feel like nothing like feeling in the air or like I told you. We just feel that it is so wonderful, so joyous to perform this, right? What does Mayavada say? They say, yo, don't worry, we'll make you desireless. Srila Prabhupada says it's impossible, right? We can only have the desires, but dovetail it to Krishna, right? So it's 40. Just give me a few minutes. I'll finish it. Mayavada says, we'll make your desire nil. It's impossible. Bhakti can only purify your desires. So, how does a bhakta get liberated? With this, we'll close the day. So, Tivrena bhakti, Krishna says, right? The bhakti should be intense. That's why we say fixed up devotee, a serious devotee, mature devotee, whatever words we use, we need to get there. We cannot just, one of the examples, I think, in a discussion between Devahoti and husband, they were discussing one of the options there. Krishna say, I mean, the son gives us that example is that fire. Sometimes we need a wood to light the fire, right? But the fire is so good that initially we need it, but later on the fire itself burns the wood. That way, bhakti is something like that. We keep on hearing Shravanam, Krishna Katha, so much. Krishna Ratri, morning program, all that we keep hearing. And that itself will burn this body, that is liberate the body and ensure you go back home, back to God. We've seen the map, right? Hare Krishna Mahamantra can take us back. So how do we do Tivrena? Tivra means not simple, not your, see how the rishis were asking here in this verse. Rishis are asking Suta Goswami, please narrate the same stories. Krishna Katha, which Sukadev Goswami narrated to Parikshit Maharaj. Just stick to that. We would like to hear. Then we would like to get liberated. Not this short Bhagavatam classes. Of course, this helps us because we start the day by hearing Bhagavatam class, so our day is fantastic. But here we are concerned, Matajis have to cook, Prabhujis have to go and attend their offices. They have this morning time. But Parikshit Maharaj did not want a break. How he heard the class, no agenda, just keep on. Don't give any break, no lunch break, no. He didn't even take water break, forget sleep break, no break. See, sometimes when you sit for any class in ISKCON, they will give a watch in front of you and keep a slip. Prabhuji, you can take 45 minutes, right? But that is not going to help. It has to be Tivrena. That is, yes, of course, that also, but it has to be Tivra. I know the five limbs of devotional service, we say 30 minutes hearing, 30 minutes reading. That is not enough. For a fixed up devotee, at least 1 hour, 2 hours, what we all heard, right? Only then we get some interest in Krishna Katha, right? Our current scenarios, our competitors are very high. The mobile and other people, they keep sending reels. The reels used to be 30 seconds. They have now made it couple of minutes. So competitors are very high. So Krishna Katha also should become higher. So Prabhupada used to give the coconut example, right? The dab nariyal pani, what we pay. Initially, if you take a green one, it doesn't make sound. But you keep it for a longer time, they separate, right? And then that way, the same Shravanam keep on doing for long, that will touch our hearts. Now, I'd like to end this with one verse. Prabhupada is quoting, that is 112, I think. First canto, second chapter, 12th verse, right? He quotes, yeah, Bhagavatam, right? Even before that, I wanted to add that, in first chapter, first canto, 14th verse, it says, living beings are entangled in this complicated meshes of birth and death. They can be freed immediately. Why? If you chant unconsciously also the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? Once Prabhupada was going and the villagers were taking those, sugar cane in that, and they all saw these foreign body white people and Prabhupada. They all wanted to make fun. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So the devotee asked, what happens, right, to these people who just for fun wanted to make fun of us chanted? So Prabhupada said that they will also be liberated. See, imagine that's why I said I want to end it with a positive note. Huh? Even unconsciously chanting the holy name, right? That is the situation. So imagine what will happen if you consciously chant. There is another verse which Prabhupada is quoted. It's a wonderful verse. This talks about the serious, inclusive student of the age, well equipped with the knowledge and detachment, realizes the absolute truth by rendering devotional service to in terms of what he is heard from Vedanta Shruta. There it is a beautiful explanation. He gives 4 types. Prabhupada gives first class, second class, and third class. I would humbly request everyone to read that verse purport, which has got kind of good understanding of what this verse Prabhupada is talking about. Okay, I'd like to end here. These are the few points which I had noted down. I'm sure I missed a few things. Sorry for taking extra time. Please correct me and add any points if you all have. Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Prabhu. Hare Bol.